Hello everyone, welcome back to another beer review. Today we have a traditional, nostalgic beer, good favorite of mine. It is the Two Hearted Ale from Bell's. It's got a cute little fishy on it. And I'm going to talk all about it today on Beer Late. Bell's Brewing Co. opened in 1985, 1986, somewhere in there, by Larry Bell, a man whom back in the late 70s was working at a bakery and was tired of doing that wheat sauce stuff with their grains and yeast and all that, and decided to do something way more awesome and started homebrewing, which then led to him opening a homebrewing supply store. Years later, Larry sold his first commercial beer, which was brewed at home in a 15-gallon batch. Today, Bell's wrings out over 350,000 hectoliters of beer per year from their brewery just outside of Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is about 100 miles or so from where I went to college. Fun fact of the day. Bell's is huge in Michigan, and when Oberon, their summer seasonal wheat ale, hits the taps, it's like a frickin' holiday. So no kidding here, Oberon Day really is like a holiday celebrated in Michigan. When I was in college, students would go to class in the morning, get off, go to the bar to drink Oberon, and then go back to campus and go to their classes in the afternoon. But we're not talking about the Oberon, we're talking about the Two Hearted Ale. This is an American IPA. Let's look at this guy. Really nice color. Kind of a light brown, copperish. Got a really nice foamy head. As I kind of set up all this stuff, it takes a little bit of time, so this thing's even been sitting here for about 5 minutes and still retaining its head. Got a lot of bubbles coming up. It's got a really nice smell, and that's because of the Centennial hops that are used in this thing. We'll talk about that more in a sec. It's got a nice woody aroma to it, but there's no really overpowering flavors in the smell. So let's try it out, huh? Yep, that's nice. That's what I remember. Reminds me of college.
Oh, it's like college.
It's a really nice and light, easy drinking beer. Getting some nice like pine and some woody flavors going on in there. It's not overly powerfully bitter. It's not too fruity like a lot of like West Coast IPAs are. It's really subtle, really smooth. It's really good beer. So like I said earlier, this thing uses Centennial hops and only Centennial hops. 100% Centennial hops using this thing. Can I say Centennial hops one more time maybe? And Centennial hops, there it is. It's our classic traditional American IPA style of hop used in pretty much every IPA, American IPA style. And with the Two Hearted Ale, they add these hops during the boil to get the bitterness and some of the more heavier bitter flavors out of the hops. And they also dry hop this thing, which means that they add hops during the fermentation to get a nice aroma and to get these nice lighter and fruitier flavors out of the hops. It's very well done, very well balanced, not overly bitter, not overly sweet, not overly fruity. It's got a really nice combination of all those puppies mixed together. So this thing is named after the Two Hearted River up in the UP. And for all you non-Michigandiers, there are two peninsulas in Michigan, the state of Michigan, the lower and the upper. So it's just farther north. Anyway, and that's also why there's a trout on the bottle. I think that's a trout. I'm not a big fisher dude, but if anyone can tell me what kind of fish this is, do so down in the comments. Do me a favor. So let's talk a little bit of stats, and then I'll get into story time. So this guy has an IBU of 55, which is about average for most American style IPAs. They're usually a little bit more bitter. Alcohol percent is 7.0% alcohol by volume. On this guy, you can get it in 12-ounce bottles, 12-ounce cans, 16-ounce cans, and on draft. It is a year-round beer produced by Bell's out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. We've already talked about that. Bell's is really well known in Michigan. We've already talked about the Oberon a little bit, but the Two Hearted Ale, that's probably a very close second in favorite beers from Bell's. First tried this while I was in college at the Ferris State University. So the first time I ever came into contact with this beer, I was at a bar up in college, and a couple of my friends who were probably coming from the library, I only befriended really, straight-minded, smart, studious type of people while I was up there. I only wanted to surround myself with the best. So they were probably at the library studying. They wanted to come in and just say hello. And I asked a buddy, hey, what would you like to drink? First round's on me. And he said, yeah, all right, we'll have 2 pints of 2 hearted ales. And I could not, for the life of me, say 2 pints of 2 hearted ales. And I just could not get that out. You know what I mean? I just could not say it. The 2 was just and I tried 2 pints. What? What do you want? Yeah, what do you want? 2 pints. 2. What is it? You just want 2 Bud Lights? I could not say 2 pints of 2 hearted ales if my life depended on it. And so that was the first time I came in contact with 2 hearted ale. It was with 2 pints of 2 hearted ale. So yeah, I'm familiar with this beer. Definitely the first time I've tried it. I haven't seen it in Europe. I picked this up back when I was in the US back in December. Unfortunately, Oberon was out of season. So if anyone wants to send me an Oberon, they're pretty damn good. This is also really, really good beer. Definitely recommend. Kind of how I said last time with the Upland, how these Midwest beers, they're not crazy, they're not over the top, they're really just nice, hearty, at home kind of good beers that you can drink 3, 4, 5 of them and not really feel bad about it. Whereas, some of these West Coast IPAs, you drink them, man, and you just gotta like suffer through them sometimes. I really like the story of the brewery as well. Larry Bell, he was just a guy that interested about beer, started brewing his own stuff. He just started selling it back in the mid 80s, making it at home, and now they're one of the biggest breweries in Michigan. But that's the stories you hear time and time again of these American brewers where they're just doing something else, they don't like it, they quit their job, start brewing. And here we are 25, 30 years later, and this craft beer scene is just everywhere. You can't get rid of it. And I mean, Bell's is brewing really good beers, but so are all these other thousands of craft breweries in the United States. And I feel that Bell's really kind of exemplifies this like American freedom of brewing and of craft beer culture and everything like that. Yeah, that's also a reason to love them. So we're more than halfway done with this guy. This thing is still holding its head, and the flavors don't really like dive off. You're still getting like really nice flavors out of it, but it's not getting like stale in your mouth. You know, like when you're drinking like really hoppy stuff, you just get like that overflowing bitterness so that it just like nulls out all the other flavors in the beer after a while. That's not happening with this. Like you're still getting some really, really nice beer flavor out of it. I said back in my first review of the Augustiner Helles that beer is really just suited for really any situation, and I almost would argue that this is too. It's an IPA, which is normally more kind of, you just drink one of them and you're done type of more deal, but I mean, you could throw 2, 3, 4 of these things in your backpack, go for a hike, you could pregame with these things, you could, have a nice dinner with this guy. I wouldn't say that there's really any certain situation that it's either suited for or not suited for. I think it's really flexible, really well balanced type of a beer, but we're coming down to the end of this puppy here. That was a nice little trip down memory lane. So I've managed to get my hands on another classic Michigan brew. And I had to kill a couple of people to get my hands on it. Okay, that's not entirely true anyway, but we're not going to be doing it next time, but maybe in like 2 reviews for the 21st. Hey, there's a good number for it. And for the 21st review, we're going to be doing another great classic Michigan brew, so make sure you guys tune in for that. The Two Hearted Ale from Bell's Brewery out of Kalamazoo or Comstock, Michigan. Can definitely recommend. If you guys have had this thing, let me know down in the comments. If you guys have any other suggestion of other beers that you would like me to try, make sure you list those down in the comments as well. Like, comment, subscribe as always, and we will see you guys next time on Beer Lake. Peace out!